muy contento de seguir con nuestro programa Alcaldes del Mundo. Me gusta ver a San Pedro Garza García como un municipio que aprende de otras ciudades y de otros alcaldes. Y hoy tengo el gusto de platicar con Eckart Würzner. Él es el alcalde ya desde hace un buen número de años, desde el 2006, de Heidelberg en Alemania. Y él tiene un perfil bien interesante como alcalde, un perfil que en el caso de nuestro país sería típico. Él es doctor en geografía, con estudios en geología y leyes. Su tesis doctoral tiene que ver precisamente sobre el efecto de la contaminación en la calidad de vida en las zonas urbanas, y ha tenido diferentes cargos en agencias precisamente que tienen que ver con el medio ambiente y cómo se minimiza el impacto negativo para los ciudadanos en nuestras ciudades. Entonces, thank you very much, Eckart, for accepting this invitation. And moving directly to some topics that are of great interest for both people there and here. I read an article recently in the New York Times that said about Heidelberg, and the headline was something like, "The city where cars are not welcome." If I said that in San Pedro, I would got immediately fired. We have 1.2 cars per person in this municipality. No other municipality in Mexico, and it's very strange all around the world, 1.2 cars per person. And I would like to ask you, what led you to start this movement towards a carless city? What problems did you identify that needed to be tackled in this way? And how did the community react to this very straightforward position that you have taken about cars and mobility in Heidelberg?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, Miguel, I'm very proud that we have this conversation after our close relation to the C40s network. It's all about sharing experience, and I would firstly say it's not the best way always, because it's always depending on your own city, on your structure of a city. And I'm now nearly 16 years mayor of this wonderful city called Heidelberg in Germany. It is one of those knowledge pearls in Heidelberg. So we are the city of Nobel Prize winners, to give you an idea. More than 70% of the employees are working in science institutes and universities. Wow. So if I'm going out, I always meet professors, because everybody has a professor in Heidelberg, nearly. So it's more a battle between the science community, which is the best way for the future to get more resilient, to get more climately friendly, and to keep our nature habitats in a shape that we really can give our next generations a good perspective. If you are in such a situation, the civil society is really pushing the administration and the mayor to go in this direction. And this is, in my opinion, one of the leading points why a lot of people are reflecting what they're doing. Of course, we still are struggling because we are depending on the car industry in Germany to export cars.
That's true. That's true.
So it's a very big economic impact, and to say get rid of all cars means there is a big loss of economic power. So we have to be a little bit careful by just mentioning this in this direction. So we always say we find a better way for a Green Deal. So we move our society to better mobility concepts. And that means we support electric cars, we support bicycle, we support mass transport system. That's the reason I'm the owner of all buses and trams in Heidelberg. So It's my company. Yeah. The electric company is my company. So I'm the head of the electric company. So I produce the green electricity for my trams. So if you have both of these structures, not only the administration, you really can show and find a way to get an economic benefit for the green economy, and on the other side to move more in mobility friendly, climate friendly mobility. By doing so, we have about 20% of all mobility moves are done by cars. 80% is done by bicycle.
Wow.
And by bus, tram, and as a pedestrian. So we have already achieved very high level.
Wow.
And all the people like this, because if you see the picture behind me, here you can see the historical, lovely castle, a wonderful historical downtown area. But on the other hand, we have, if we go up the river, we have a very modern city where we have all the European microbiological institutes, the biggest medical clinic in Germany. So it's all full of science. And those who are coming from all over the world to Heidelberg to work here, they have the knowledge and they know that we have to do something. And of course, I have to say, Heidelberg has the highest number of Porsches in Germany. So Porsche is a race car.
Wow.
They store it in the garage and bicycle to the university.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit strange, but this is also Heidelberg. So by doing so, we have to find a way to get good bicycle lanes, good speed bicycle lanes in the city, into the suburbs, and try to give opportunities. I think this is the most important thing.
Well, I mean, you are far, far ahead. I mean, that relationship you talk about, 80-20, is here in San Pedro is exactly the other way around. So it's more than 80% cars. And I mean, we have given some steps, as I told you, far behind yet, towards bike lanes. I have an important program of fixing sidewalks, because sidewalks were terrible. You couldn't walk in our sidewalks. A big investment in public spaces, in parks, because we are moving towards what some urbanists call the 20-minute city. So I want to have like different areas in the municipality when you have a 20-minute city where you can walk or bike without using a car. And what I want to ask you is, what are the key elements for a sustainable city? I mean, the very, very short list of key elements. And what would be, I mean, for a city with much less resources than Heidelberg, not only San Pedro, but any city in Mexico, what would be like those simple initiatives, those simple actions that have a good impact, or a better impact in terms of sustainability?
Yeah, I think, and I'm working very long in the environmental sector, but I always say, we should not look to the environmentalists. So not misunderstanding me, because it's not just working with those who wanted to change. You have to work with everybody who needs just a solution to go to work or to go to a park. So short distances. So in general, it is changing the city planning structure.
Okay.
The city with walking distances, of course, is one of the key elements. Yeah. And for your city, San Pedro Garcia, I think it's a good perspective, because it's not Mexico City. It's not these size, which is uncontrollable for me. But you can create these clusters, these city areas where you have these pedestrian, not zones, but pedestrian ways. Bicycle is the cheapest way to change mobility, the cheapest way. On the other hand, you need firstly a mass transport system based on a clear connection of the suburbs to the downtown area. The best example I know is the city of Curitiba in Brazil. Jamie Learned has set up such a spider network where you understand me, a spider net
for
transport system. So every suburb gets a road into the slum area sometimes, where you just have long buses, very long buses, not trams, because long buses are much more cheaper. Mm-hmm. And in the other ground, you have the tube, the water, the sewage, so the infrastructure. If you have set up such a structure, the city can develop a little bit uncontrolled, but along these infrastructure lanes. If you do so, you can reduce immediately, massively, the connection from suburbs to downtown, because they can be faster, much faster, if they use this mass transport line, which is not sticking in a queue, which must always have an own track. That's very important. Maybe not a real track, like a tram, but then an own bus lane.
Yeah.
From the suburb to the downtown. Very easy, very cheap, but with a bus, they are much faster, they have more service, and because they're faster, they would change their behavior. Second point, in my opinion, is push and pull. So make the downtown parking spaces more expensive than in the suburbs. Not easy. I know this. It was always a heavy discussion also in my city. So you can't do this from A to B, but you have to say this year, next year, 20%, 2 years, 40% more expensive. So show the way. I think this is more acceptable by the citizens. And if you have the donation or the push strategy by these bus lanes, you have the positive investment of the city and the negative side that you're raising the prices. If you combine both, I think that's the best way.
After 16 years working towards a sustainable city, I am sure that not everything has been smooth. And I'm sure you have faced important challenges and opposition. What would you say have been like the biggest challenges or those actions or programs where you faced a greater opposition from the community, from interest groups, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, as you mentioned, I think that if you invest in the city, everybody is fine. So for more green technology, also for wind power, solar, whatever, it's mostly positive. It gets tricky if you go to the individual. If you take the benefits they have, or if you say you're not allowed to drive here because now it's the bicycle lane, it's not anymore a car lane. This starts heavy political discussions. So in my opinion, this was only positive because if you're not just looking to the environmentalists, if you're just looking to the citizens itself, I want that you're living safely with your children, also in downtown area, that you have better air quality, that you have better life. And we can only fulfill this if we go together in the direction by reducing a little bit those benefits for car users, subsidize, create more benefits for bicycle and bus and tram lines, and we go this way. Okay, master plan every second year, a revenue, where we are, what we wanted to achieve. Over the years, you change the system. I think it's not working when you say tomorrow we have to.
Okay. So show the path. What you said in the last, I mean, show the way.
Yeah, that's the way.
I always like to finish with my favorite question, and it's this one. If I were to go to Heidelberg, or any of the citizens from San Pedro were to go to Heidelberg, which is that place that maybe it is not in TripAdvisor or a tourist guide, but that place that Eckart would say, I mean, you have to come and know this place, this festival, this happening in my city that you have to know, you have to experience.
I think we have a wonderful, which a good friend of mine created, what you call the Metropole Link Festival. It's a festival which is using old, not used house walls for international graffiti artists.
Oh, wow.
So it creates a different city if you give international artists working with graffitis, but that is as an art.
And when is this festival? When in the year?
It's always in August, in summer.
Okay.
We invite them. We have handbooks over this, and we are running this program now for years. And it changed the city, because if you look up the hill, you see, for example, the housing complexes, and on one big brown or gray wall, you have now a woman or a man, you know, in a combination of art, and yeah, it creates more livable young city, an impulsive city. I think this is some of the wonderful festivals. Lots of
that sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Eckart. It has been very, very useful, and I'm sure that people here in San Pedro and everywhere in Mexico will enjoy and learn from this conversation. And I wish you all the best for you, your family, and your city.
Thank you, Miguel. All the best also to you in your city. Thank you.
Thank you. Tuvimos una plática extraordinaria con Eckart Würzner, el alcalde de Heidelberg en Alemania. Realmente la disfrutamos. Bueno, yo no sé ustedes, yo aprendí mucho. Y aquí nos vemos el siguiente miércoles en este espacio Alcaldes del Mundo para aprender de otras ciudades.